Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Odio. Welcome to the internet and welcome to my channel. It's been waiting for you. And today I'm here to review The Wolf King Season 1, based on the Werewolf novels by Curtis Joblings. The whole first season's out on Netflix, and I've seen it all. How does it go? Well, let's take a look. So just to start this one off, I have read all 6 werewolf novels. I honestly, I read them when they came out. They all came out within like 2 years, like 2011, 2013, back in the day. I had them all as they were coming out. I loved the story. It's kind of like a young adult style, but there's a lot of murder in it. There's a lot of death. So when I saw Netflix is doing an adaptation and it was kind of marked in for a younger crowd, I thought, but there's a lot of murder and terrible things in this. How are they going to adapt that? Also, these books aren't slow, but they're not super fast paced. So I wasn't sure how they do. So they do pretty good, and the animation looks different than I thought, but I did get used to it. So if you've never read the Werewolf novels, they're great. Go give them a look. But the first one's called The Rise of the Wolf. And that's what we're doing here. In the land of Lycia, which kind of sounds like Lycan. But anyway, there's a bunch of different provinces. They're all run by different lords. There's the Boar Lord, the Bear Lord, the Stag Lord. There's the Lions who rule over everything. But this whole land used to be run by the Wolf. Wergar was his name. They're werewolves. So everyone in this, they're were animals. They can transform. There's sharks, birds, there's everything. It's pretty cool when they transform too. They do a good job in the show showing the transformation. Looks pretty neat. But we're following Drew Farron. So he is the son of Wergar. He's the last wolf. But even he doesn't know that. His parents have hid this from him, and he's off living in this little village with his mother and his father and his brother. So one night, things take a real turn, though. So surprisingly, a monster, a were-rat, breaks in to attack Drew's mother. He doesn't even know what's going on. She gets out a sword, tries to defend herself, but of course, in this, when they transform into the werelords, they can't be killed by regular steel. Only silver can hurt them. So regular swords and stuff like that, they don't get diseases and stuff like that either. So they're not invincible, but they are absolutely a lot stronger than a regular human. So when the were-rat kills his mom, Drew, for the first time ever, transforms into the wolf, like when the moon comes in on him, and he looks pretty awesome. He gets these big paws, and he's clawing and trying to fight the were-rat, who runs away. And this happens in the book, too. His father and his brother come back, and, there's Drew standing like a werewolf over the corpse of his mother, and they think he did it, so they hate him. His dad tries to kill him, and they run away. And his dad and his brother pretty much hate him the whole book on. His dad turns his own brother against him and stuff. It's awful. And it happens here too. So they don't shy away from that. And you even get to see Drew's ex-girlfriend kind of in town because the Lions have taken over and they've come in. Now they're looking for Drew because they think there's a wolf there. So they're tearing apart the town, destroying things, locking people in cages. His brother goes and rats on him that he's the actual brother of the wolf and he can help him find him. It happens in the book and it happens in the show. I don't like it either time. I think the dad should at least have more sense to at least ask him what the hell happened here, but he doesn't. And yeah, so Drew gets cast out on his own. In the book, he's there as a half wolf guy, like living in the wilds for a couple of months, but that doesn't happen here. He gets found pretty quickly by a couple of scouts and Whitley. Now, Whitley's one of his first friends. She's the Bear Lord's daughter. She meets Drew in the woods and ends up kind of bringing him back, to her father. Whitley meets the wolf, Drew Farron, in the woods and brings him back to the Bear Lord's land. Now, Bragan is the Bear Lord, and he's one of the last people that still fights for the people. He's kind of against the Cat Lords, but still kind of has to stay in line. So when she brings him back, the first thing he does is he's like, get out of here, Drew, you don't want to be here. And at first I'm like, wow, is he just being a jerk? But no, the Cat Lords are there. Lucas, who is Leopold the Lion, is the king. He's the one who rules the whole world. And his son, who's also, these are were-lions, so they can transform into like huge monsters, like really powerful. His son Lucas is there. He's there to get married to a girl named Gretchen. Gretchen is a fox lord. I like her a lot in the book. And we also see Hector. He's the son of one of the boar lords. They can turn into like boars. So he's there as well. And they sort of form a little troop. But early on, as you see them kind of building their relationship together and hanging out and learning about each other and stuff like that, they do a prison break together. They have to get out of the city. There's a whole thing. And they end up being a little group that's traveling together. Now, Hector, the Boar Lord, he's working for this evil rat lord guy who can do evil dark magic. He can like summon people from the dead and things. At one point, he gets a black spot on his hand. And that's really important because that black spot kind of leads into the nether realm, gives him sort of an insight into evil that a lot of the other characters don't have. That becomes a lot more prevalent later on, but it's cool that they do it here. You see him you see him get the mark on his hand, and it never goes away, it never heals, so he has that the whole time. I like Whitley too. Like, she's in this a lot different. She's more androgynous in the book. I'm not even really sure she's a girl right away because she's a dirty like bear girl or whatever. But you can tell right away in this. I like her character. She's done well. Things are paced up a lot. Everything is moving a whole lot faster, but Whitley's done really well. And you get Gretchen. Now, Gretchen is a fox lord. I loved her in the book too. She's like one of those stuck up, pretentious, well, I'm a princess. Clean my boots. Hold my hand as I step out of the carriage. She doesn't come off as too much of a stuck up princess in this one, but she does come off that way a few times and makes use of it a few times to help out Drew and them. She kind of gets brought along with them because she's going to be marrying Lucas. She doesn't really want to go on an adventure. She wants to go home and be a princess. But we get to meet the Shark Lord Vega at one point. Sharks are cool. Like, so they're actually werelords that can transform into sharks, dive in the water and stuff. There's going to be a hammerhead guy coming up later, but Vega's sort of a white shark, like a great white shark. He ends up betraying Drew. They end up getting bought back. So eventually, Drew gets captured a lot in this. He's a prisoner, probably half the show, but that's the way the book goes too. So they do that here until he finally gets to have his big showdown at the end. Because Drew is actually the son of Wergar, who was like the overall wolf who ruled the whole world, he's got these little artifacts from other lords that he thinks will support him. So he ends up trusting Vega, and Vega ends up capturing him because he's a jerk. In the book, it pretty much goes the same way, but the Stag Lord and the Bear Lord, they don't like that Vega, the Shark Lord, did that. So they get into a little fight on the stairs. It's pretty cool, but long story short, they're going to sacrifice Drew. They're going to drop him into a big botch of silver. You ever see the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit where they dunk that little shoe in the thing? That's what it looks like. But on a bigger scale, they're going to dump Drew down in there and just like melt him in front of everybody. That is epic. And his mother, Queen Amelie, is technically still alive. She's in like a weird trance or something, but she wakes up right at the end and is like, that's my son. He's the rightful king. Ah! And we get a really, really cool final episode. You get a nice fight. You get the wolf versus the lion at one point. You also get the Stag Lord and the Bear Lord coming in to try to fight the lion. It's really cool. They try to overthrow him. He ends up having to lock himself in his kingdom. They do a really good job on the first book. It's only 8 episodes, so I will admit a lot of it is a little bit rushed. If you're a fan of the book, they definitely could have taken their time more here, but they do a pretty good job. And there is a lot of murder and death in the book, so they do it differently in this. You still get to see the ruthlessness of Leopold and Lucas when he like throws a tailor out the window and they try to kill people and cut them down. But it doesn't come off as bad as the book because they don't go into, there's no blood, right? Because it's meant for, I guess, all ages type kids, younger. But it's great. And they do a really good job of presenting the people as evil that are supposed to be evil and the people as good that are supposed to be good. You get the plight of the world now that the Cat Lords have taken over. It's awesome. And we get a great cliffhanger ending because it's going to go into book 2. Hopefully they get renewed and come back for the next season because these books only get better as they go. I really like where they're going to go with it. But overall, this is a fantastic show. Great season of action, fun, and adventure. Even if you haven't read the books, you can turn on Wolf King from episode 1. They give you everything you need to know to get invested. The world building is really good. You believe they're in a different world than us. There's like people turning into werewolves and bears and sharks and all kinds of exciting stuff. Although I will admit, Whitley transforms, but the Boar Lord, Hector, doesn't transform, and Gretchen doesn't transform into the Fox Lord. I know they can, so they're probably going to bring that in later. It's not like it's costing them CGI. It's all animated, but we're going to see more of them later on. Overall, though, really strong start. Drew Farron is voiced perfectly. His character comes off exactly the way I imagined him in the book. A 16-year-old who's given power he doesn't know what to do with, doesn't know who his dad is, not sure where to go, not sure how to proceed, trying to learn and get stronger as he goes and trying to defend his friends and help save the entire kingdom. Fantastic. It's an adventure for everyone. You can all sit down and enjoy this, kids, adults, and everyone in between. So overall, I would give The Wolf King an 8.5 out of 10. It's not perfect. It has some pacing issues. It rushes a little bit too fast. There's a couple dialogue moments where I'm like, that should have been a little bit better. But overall, the deliveries are pretty good from all the characters. You get a lovely cast and a fun adventure. This is a great time. Easy to recommend. Sit down on Netflix and binge through the whole series. You won't regret it. But thanks so much for your time, guys. Really appreciate that. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. And remember, everybody, stay out of trouble.